Greetings, good humans, and welcome to Tabletop Alchemy, where sometimes we go on a field trip, and sometimes your host tries out new, to him anyway, video techniques. And we thank our patrons for supporting such silly experiments in content creation. As always, hats off to you guys. Okay, I guess the first thing is make a note of that I'm trying a new microphone. It's not a new microphone. It's a microphone I use over at my desk, but it's a better microphone, and I'm just trying it out. Not really happy with the audio I get out of my videos with the other mic I have, so today's full of experiments. That's what's happening today. All right, so what you're going to see coming up here in a moment is, frankly, a mess. Sort of. I could explain and vouch for all of my shortcomings as a content creator, but, you know, it is what it is. Which is to say, for me, it's a learning experience, and for you, we'll see. But one thing's for sure. I thoroughly enjoy the ability to experiment and try new stuff, and for those of you that hang out for it, welcome to the show. And fair warning, there are definitely some other audio issues coming up with the other thing you're going to see here, but hey, it's an FFT, right? It is. All right, well, welcome to my car, and the first time I've ever tried to do something like this, which is a very odd thing to do, and I don't think I'm going to be very good at it or like it at all. Sort of vlogging sort of thing. I drive a stick shift, so there's no way I can do this and drive at the same time. Although I do have this pillow, my 8-ball pillow that I've had for 15 years to put my camera on, so maybe I'll try that. I want to see what this is like with the camera sitting on the dashboard. Oh boy. Strap in, because we're going places. And I've got some cash money, because apparently where we're going, they don't take cards or anything like that. And now I'm just going to ramble while I try not to hit this truck that always parks behind my space. And then light's going to change, and I'll have to change exposure and all that good stuff. And yeah. This is absurd. I don't know how shaky this is going to be. This might be terrible. This might be a terrible idea. It's going to take me 30 minutes to get where we're going. Going out to Anaheim, sort of out by an amusement park called Knott's Berry Farm. I have no script today, so I don't really know what I'm going to be saying. I don't know if this microphone is working good. I have no idea. This is all an experiment. They can all end up on the editing room floor if that's necessary. It's always fun to try something new, you know, see what happens. I gotta really make sure I pay attention to driving. It's a good thing this is a very early Sunday morning. It's not super early, but like almost 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning. So hopefully there won't be too much traffic out here to confuse my poor little brain from trying to multitask. It's very dangerous trying to film oneself in the car without fixed car rigs already set up. Camera's probably sliding down. It's very dangerous doing 75 miles an hour on the freeway trying to set your camera on the dashboard. Do not recommend. Anyway, where are we going today? My friend Hoffman, he's way into like military models and historical models, stuff like that. So he's the one who told me about the last place we went on a field trip. And this show, they call it a model show. I forgot the name of the actual show. I'll look it up, put it on screen. But this show is actually it's just like a model collector's selling show, like a not like a swap meet sort of, you know, but like a gun show for model kits. I don't really know. I might be able to get some cheap older sets or just some stuff that's really affordable. My whole idea and his suggestion for this was that I could probably find some stuff that we could use for terrain. We could make some sci-fi boards or just some bits of scatter terrain out of like crappy my arm is getting very tired doing this. Jesus. Ooh boy, this is rough. We could get some crappy model kit, tank model kits, you know, stuff like that. I don't know what to expect. So I thought I'd bring you guys along and we'll see what this show is like. And if we can find some really cheap plastic model kits that we can use as just scrap or terrain stuff, I don't know. Maybe it'll be cool.
love Star Wars, but...
I did the thing. Went in there, walked around. We saw some footage. That's all I could manage. It was kind of overwhelming. Seeing all these little tiny boxes stacked up everywhere. It's like going down a cereal aisle at a super-sized supermarket times 100. It's pretty overwhelming. I get kind of a sensory overload. So there was a lot of stuff in there. Not much that I'm interested in. I'm not into sort of military kits or whatever, but I ended up finding a few interesting things and a couple actually really good deals, and we'll take a look at those when we get home. So right now I'm gonna head over to Dave's Hot Chicken, because this is what you do in a vlog, right? I just tell you every little stupid thing I do, like where I'm gonna go eat and nonsense. Here I am getting my camera back out of the car. So this vlogging thing it's pretty funny to me. I mean, it always has been this bizarre attempt to make one's life look like a movie, but still have some kind of authenticity, even though you're staging shots and filming yourself after the fact. It's pretty weird and kind of wonderful and stupid all at the same time, which I suppose in that regard is generally a decent reflection of humanity in some way. Anyway, let's take a look at the loot I brought home, shall we? So first up, we have this V22 Osprey 148 scale Italiary kit. So the guy selling this had it marked at 25 bucks, but Hoffman informed me that the whole point of this show was essentially a garage sale in nature, meaning haggling was encouraged. Now, at my core, I am an introvert, so my core houses a lot of stacks of introvert programming. Code. Subroutines? I don't know, I'm not a coder. Anyway, Hoffman told me to just make an offer. He said the worst they could do was just say no. And, of course, he's objectively correct. But when I went to pay for this kit, the first thing the seller said to me was, "Hey, I'll give you that for 20 bucks. I thought, I am a master haggler. Anyway, I thought this kit would make a great bit of sci-fi terrain, just like some drone thing crashing into the ground. I mean, look at this chassis, or fuselage, I guess, without all the stuff on it. Doesn't it look like it could be some kind of giant futuristic drone? Maybe not, I don't know. It's just kind of the vibe I get, without, it having wings and propellers on it yet. But hang on a second. Let me show you something. This is a piece of terrain Hoffman made for our first game of 40K Kill Team. It's pretty freaking cool, right? Now, this thing was the thing that inspired this whole trip to begin with. The crashed ship here is from a Japanese company called Nitto, or Nitto. It's Nitto. And the kit is of it. It's an SF3D Maschinenkrieger Nutrocker, which is apparently the Japanese playing on the word nutcracker. And he just had it laying around, I guess, and decided to put it to use on the tabletop. The big TP I-beams are tank suspension guides from a Tamiya tank kit. And then, of course, he's got a bunch of little nerdies and stuff from his bits box tucked in here and there. And when I saw this, I was like, dude, maybe I could just get some old model kits for cheap and do something similar. And that's when he told me about this kit show. So let's see. We've got some decals in here first. Always fun to have. And the instructions, which, maybe I'll use them to get some of the bigger shapes together. But all this stuff is really about the nerdies, right? We're just going to be bashing together wrecks, so mistakes in building or unfinished areas will be easy to weather up or cover with debris or whatever. We get a cool translucent brown canopy. That'll make a nice detail in the crash site, maybe. And speaking of nernies, we got sprues of them. Engine nacelles are my favorite things. Check these out, and look at these tiny parts. I'm thinking some of this stuff could be very useful, even on figure bases. I kind of just thought of that. Now, 1/48 scale should be slightly larger than the scale of our 30mm miniatures. At least that's what I was led to believe. I think 30mm miniatures are supposed to be kind of roughly in the 1/56 scale realm. But from the looks of these seats, it seems that's maybe not exactly right. I don't know, these seats look too small for the minis we typically use in our games. But hey, it ain't no thing, it's all usable. It's gonna be fine. Now, these big old flat pieces, I think these would make great barricade walls just as they are. With all this cool rivet and panel line detail, yeah, stuff like this would just literally be cut up and paint. Here's some rotor blades. These things look like they should be kit bashed into anime style swords. Something like Final Fantasy, right? I should give one to a space marine. That might be pretty funny. Here's the top part of the wing fuselage. It's pretty cool. Let's cut it off the sprue and mock it up. Yeah, so I think this is definitely going to be a pretty cool little build. Whatever we apply these parts to, or whatever we make out of it, I think it's going to be pretty cool. All right, I think so far this is a success. I'm feeling pretty inspired. So next I picked up this 35th scale King Tiger tank kit from Dragon, and I also got this kit for 20 bucks instead of 25. The reasons I grabbed this one were, one, I like the shape of the turret. It feels oddly futuristic, kind of, and apparently it was designed by Porsche back in World War II. The other thing is Hoffman told me this would be a good kit nerdy-wise. Or I suppose we could say Greeble-wise, if that's your preferred nomenclature. Remember, most of the original Star Wars ship miniatures were detailed out of bits from old plastic tank kits and car kits and, other things. But alright, this first sprue has the top portion of the hull. It's pretty cool. Nice surface detail. There's some good bits on the rest of the sprue, too, alright? The second sprue is full of more great detail bits, in particular these round parts. Round stuff is always a pain to make from scratch, right? So these are pretty cool. These sprues have all the sprockets for the tank tracks, again, more round and circular details. And these exhaust looking things, these are awesome. I could see a lot of uses for these. And here's the gun barrel, which I think historically was an 88mm cannon, which for comparison's sake, the M1 Abrams tank rocks a 105. Now, this bag has like 6 sprues of tank tracks and rollers. Holy cow, that's a ton of individual tracks. There's no way I'm putting all those together. I think this thing's going to be a crashed hover tank. How about that? But to be honest, even each of these little tracks is a great little nerdy unto itself. All right, here's the turret. Let's bust this open and check it out. Yeah, the profile or the silhouette is what I find appealing. I kind of like how it's just got that rounded front and it's just sort of kind of swoopy. I don't know, it's just got a futuristic look to it. Maybe I can put like some rocket launchers on it instead of the main barrel. That'd be cool. And all this stuff is just injection molded styrene. Very easy to cut up and glue and just easy to work with in general. There's the big old lower hull, just a big line of sight blocking thing. That's kind of what I see here. Lots of rust and debris can surround it. Maybe some pools of acid or mud. Yeah, it's just a pretty actionable piece, I think. Oh, dude, photo etch. This is very cool. Micro brass mesh. This stuff can make excellent detail wherever we put it. This is pretty awesome. Maybe worth the entire price of the kit. Yeah, this is pretty neat. I like this. And here are the instructions, which are in color. Wow, I didn't expect that. These are pretty nice instructions. And one final sprue with some more parts and some decals. Numbered decals are always usable. And this bit of string that can be painted up like braided steel cable or something, that's pretty cool. I'm saying pretty cool an awful lot, so it's probably a drinking game at this point. Okay, I call this kit a success too, definitely worth the 20 bucks. Now I got 2 more items left. The first was on the floor under a seller's table, and I asked the guy how much, and he said $5, and I was like, sold. It's a small damaged European bridge in 35th scale. Says resin and ceramic kit, which means plaster, of course. And that also typically means brittle and heavy, and this box is heavy. And, maybe the resin helps cut down on what it would weigh? I don't know, we'll see. Let's open it up. Wow, a sea of styrofoam. Excellent. Rowan Witchbane is going to love this, for sure. But, I I don't think there are any resin parts in here. I think this looks like it's 100% plaster, which, that's fine. I mean, it was $5, right? So false advertising aside, but it does look like some of the arches are broken, but again, it's plaster. Super glue and hot glue will work totally fine. And let's not forget, it's a ruined bridge, right? I mean, it's just going to be very, very heavy and brittle. Anyway, it's got good detail, has great texture, has really flat backsides. It's kind of perfect for recasting in resin, but it's probably not really worth that kind of effort, especially with 3D printing now and stuff. Overall, totally fine detail. I mean, by today's inflationary standards, it was, basically a free kit, right? So let's put the popcorn back, because it's always fun to find a fun shot to shoot. Okay, last thing I got was the only tabletop gaming miniature I saw at the whole show. This Privateer Press War Machine Crix Battle Group. I really just wanted this figure right here, so I offered the seller $25, and he was like, okay. And I was like, score. Now, I've never played War Machine Hordes, but I've got more than a few of their miniatures, because I really dig their sculpts. They're typically very cool. But I've also never picked up any of their battle boxes. I've really only ever collected single characters or monster minis and, a few single unit kits. These battle boxes always seemed a little pricey to me at full retail, especially if I just wanted one figure, but let's see what's inside. All right, so, looks like we have a compact, is this like a full rules in digest-sized book? I think that's what this is. This is pretty sweet. I like it being perfect bound and digest sized, and the fact that you get a whole game rule book with a 4-figure battle force or whatever this is, it's really this is very nice. And this is I guess it's like a compact little, it's like a little lore booklet just about the Crix faction. You get a little short story. It's pretty cool, kind of Games Workshop-y, right? Dude, and look at this at the back of the lore book. They give you these cool little painting guides. This is awesome, especially for a new hobbyist. GW should do stuff like this more. I mean, I guess their whole goal is to get you to go to their website, for stuff like this, painting tutorials and whatever. But for somebody buying this little package, this little box with an army inside or skirmish-sized army, whatever, this is a nice package, I think. And it even comes with a crappy paper ruler, but whatever. Dang, dude, you get a whole battle mat. It's heavy gloss paper stock, it's double-sided, and full color. If this didn't have all the heavy fold creases, this would be super fantastic. I mean, I don't know how you would defeat, getting fold creases. I don't know how you get something small enough to put into this size box, that could unfold cleanly. But so even at that base level, this is actually really, it's a really kind of a high quality paper battle mat. And what's this basic training booklet? I mean, check this out. I guess it literally is what it says on the tin. It's a basic training manual for the game. I mean, look at this. It's got 1 or 2 pages dedicated to little skirmish scenarios to walk you through each basic game rule, from movement to terrain to ranged combat to concealment and cover, melee, charging, special rules and spells. This is pretty cool. I mean, I know this is all old news. I don't even know what version of War Machine this is for, but dang, overall, I'm very impressed with this whole box, especially looking at it from the perspective of being a new player and trying to get into a new game. And we haven't even seen the miniatures yet. Well, all right, here they are. Okay, they're made out of some kind of plastic. I don't think it's styrene. I have a bunch of their older minis that are either white metal or gray resin. So it's kind of interesting that they've used, at this point, I mean, so many different materials to make their miniatures. This is a cool part. Check this out. I think these are going to go in the bits box. I could see kit bashing these onto some other minis, maybe some GW minis or whatever. And dude, this head is badass. And so is this one. These heads are very cool. All right, the smaller mech is in its own bag. I'm just going to leave it in there. And the main figure, I'm going to leave that one bagged as well, just to keep them all together. I don't lose any parts. But yeah, here's the main figure I wanted. It looks cool. It's got this huge axe. And like I said, I love Privateer Press's sculpts. This one, I think she's supposed to be some kind of necromancer or something like that. I mean, I guess I could just, read the lore book and find out all about what this miniature is, but I kind of saw her as a necromancer, and I think that's probably how I'll end up painting her up. And dude, look at these, what are these, transparent brown plastic markers? Well, the Privateer Press logo has got to be one of the coolest logos ever, right? These things are awesome. I'm going to use these for skirmish game markers in the future at some point, for sure. And 4 black and white D6s. All right, apparently you only need 4 D6s to play War Machine. Interesting. More dice for the dice bag is always awesome, so, I'll take them. So, yeah, overall, I think this excursion has been a total success. I've definitely got some cool stuff, and ideas are starting to flow, and yeah, I'm looking forward to making some some sci-fi scatter terrain, or cyberpunk stuff, or whatever. All in all, pretty cool. Drink. So, find a kit show near you, and maybe you can get your hands on some cheap model kits to feed the bits box, so to speak. I mean, the stuff I got today I think is great for making like stuff for Stargrave and Warhammer 40k, Necromunda. I mean, you could turn some cheap kit into a piece of scatter terrain that works for a ton of games. Hashtag inspiring. Also, don't drive and talk to a camera while on the freeway. See ya.